Hey, how you doing? Today for our Forest Physics Minute, we have a two-part question. First, why is there a tree line? You know, you go up into the mountains, go up higher, you get up 12,000, 13, 14, oh, it's getting pretty thin oxygen up there. Why is there a tree line? And the second part of our Forest Physics Minute is, why are we not running out of oil? Okay, first part of the question. Tree line. You go up and the oxygen, it gets thin. You can hardly breathe. The trees are getting thin. There's hardly any of them. The trees are as thin as the oxygen. And then you need but why? Is it because there's no oxygen up there? Or something else that is not there? It's not the oxygen because the trees make the oxygen. That's where it comes from. Photosynthesis. Trees, any green thing, weeds in the ocean, they make oxygen. They consume carbon dioxide. They eat it, consume it. They eat it. That's what they do. And then as a byproduct of eating the carbon dioxide, which is turned into sugars and stuff, which in turn, what is this? Oh, yes, this is a stump. The things that they eat, the sugars, are turned into, as far as the tree, into cellulose, tree, wood, okay, bark and leaves and stuff. But what happens to it? Okay, it's consumed, they eat it, it's turned into, in this case, this is a stump. This used to be about 200 feet over there where my house is, but when I built my house, this was in the way. I cut the tree down. Oh no, because then when I cut the tree down, I released all of that carbon that the tree had sequestered. It had absorbed carbon from the atmosphere and grew into being a giant oak tree. But it was in the way of my house and I cut it down. The instant I cut it down, I released that carbon back into the atmosphere, because eventually, like this stump, it's rotting away. So why is there a tree line? That's because as you go up in elevation, the carbon dioxide, CO2, is a heavier element, and they run out. It doesn't go that high because there's a limit to it. Different parts of the world, it's at a different height. When the trees cannot find their food source, carbon dioxide, they cannot live. You only find them at lower elevations. Okay, that's why there's a tree line, because the carbon dioxide only goes up so high, and then they run out of food. They can't live. There is no food up there. So the carbon dioxide, it settles down. It's heavier than oxygen, yeah. Although it's mixed with it, it's a heavier element. The Earth's surface is saturated with carbon dioxide. Saturated. It settles down, especially the first 3 feet of the Earth's surface, just saturated with carbon dioxide. Weird thing. Now this tree root, why do I have it here? Look at this. It's a beautiful root. It's comes from an oak tree. It's quite amazing. Look at that. I pulled it out of the ground and I stopped a process temporarily from happening, because the carbon that is in this root in the form of cellulose was being induced back into the ground. Forcibly induced into the ground. It takes a long time for a stump to rot in the ground because it doesn't have association with much oxygen, so it rots slowly. This was in the ground for several years before I finally dug it out. We had the house built, and when I was putting in the yard, I'm going, this thing is in the way, so I'm getting it out of here. What does that have to do with not running out of oil? Oil. What is oil? We can't burn it. It's a fossil fuel. It comes from decayed vegetable matter and trees and stuff. Trees and stuff. Carbon dioxide. it settles into the ground. It permeates the ground. It keeps going down. And where does the oil come from? Oh, oil comes from decayed vegetable, mineral, or wood, cellulose, green stuff. When it decays, we're carbon units ourselves. Our earth suit is a carbon unit. That's what it is. Someday, all you people, the carbon unit part of you is going back to the ground. Okay, like this tree going back to the ground. And it does. It goes down into the ground, seeps down there, and we find out ways to get it out because it gathers underneath of the earth's surface. We use fracking, we use pumps, we use all sorts of ways, drilling holes into the ground to get this material that has transformed over the process of decay, growth. It came up, it was a living tree, it got cut down, and then it went back into the ground, and eventually it's pumped out as oil, and the circle starts again. And then when that stuff is burned, it gives something for the trees to eat. Now pollution is bad. That's different than carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a natural element, and the trees need it. We are made of it. When the trees grow, they consume the carbon dioxide and it becomes a tree. They pulled their very food right out of the air, literally. They consumed the carbon, it became the tree. I cannot express to you how much you are being duped by other words, other things that are being said. The carbon is a natural element needful to the planet, and without it, there is nothing that grows, no living stuff. It needs carbon to grow.